Hi, guys. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. Well, I'm Melinda Fargus, and I'm your host. And I am trying out a new setup tonight, and I apologize, I'm a few minutes late. Um, this week has been an awesome week, but today, when we woke up, we had 11 degrees temperature. It has not been this cold since January of 2024. And we had zero wind chills. So it has been a cold one. We're hitting the 5-week mark since Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica. And as they hoped, today is the day, December 15th. They wanted to be up and running by December 15th, and it looks like they are. All 3 airports are functional and flights are going in and out. The cruise ports are running, all ports are open, and 80% of the resorts have reopened for visitors. The Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Falmouth, all of those areas are in great shape. It is the west coast of Negril that it will be some time before we see visitors go back to that area. Well, the Port of Miami broke a record this week. Not this week, last week. They had 75,000 people go through the Port of Miami in one single day. Port Canaveral, with its, how many ships now? 18 ships at Port Canaveral, or they call Port Canaveral their home port. And so it is the busiest, but the one happened in Miami just this past week. Well, guys, Virgin Atlantic wants you to sail. All of you cruisers who have cruised on other cruise lines and you've got perks and loyalty benefits, they want to match everything that you have. They're calling it Virgin's World Widest Status Match. And no matter what level of status you are on any other cruise line, any other airline, they want your business. So they're pitching this, and you have between now and March 15th to take advantage of it. Well, I really had this laid out good on my computer, but I had to switch to a different computer. I couldn't get the sound to work. And Mom's computer is lagging just a little bit, but I am going to share my screen and go through what could really save you time, money, and less stress for the holidays. I'm going to jump into, I have to share my screen because I didn't have time to download them. I'm going to share it right here. And these are smart packing strategies for holiday and winter travel. I know that it's not possible, but whenever it is possible, carry on is your safest way to go. It's a time of year we have more lost luggage and delayed flights, canceled flights. It is common for December to have the highest amount of people around baggage carousels. And you can add 30 minutes or more to all of your travel time just because of the number of travelers. Shipping gifts ahead. Now, this is an idea. If you're bringing gifts, it's often easier to ship them directly to your destination rather than packing them in your suitcase. Wrapping paper, boxes, and bulky items take up valuable space, and security may require you to unwrap them, uh, anything that they need to inspect. Shipping gifts frees up luggage space and helps you avoid potential transportation, security, administration, TSA issues. It ensures everything arrives safely without the extra weight. Now, here is a tip: layering for comfort. Winter clothing can take a lot of space in your suitcase. So, a smart strategy is to wear your heaviest layers on the plane, such as your coats, sweaters, and don't forget your boots. This frees up your luggage while keeping you warm during the early morning departure in chilly airplane cabins. Layering also gives you flexibility. Add a scarf if you get cold, or take off your jacket if you get warm, so that you stay comfortable throughout your entire trip. Now, when we travel, it doesn't matter what time of year. Um, well, let me rephrase that. In winter travel, I will wear a sweater, wear a coat, and I will carry my heaviest coat over my arm because I don't need my heaviest coat inside of the airport, but I also don't want to put it in my luggage. So my niece traveled over Thanksgiving, and I said, go on and wear both coats and take a pillowcase. And once you get on the plane, you can take off whatever you don't need, fill it in your pillowcase, and now you have a pillow to travel with. She thought that was pretty cool, and that's what she did. Um, I also always carry all of my heaviest items, usually shoes, in my backpack. Um, if I am nearing that 50-pound luggage total, and arrive earlier than usual because during the Christmas rush, lines at check-in, security, and boarding are much longer than normal. And to avoid the last minute stress, aim to arrive at least 3 hours early for your domestic flights and 4 hours for international flights. This gives yourself plenty of time to handle those unexpected delays or the unexpected delays of the people in front of you with TSA. It gives you time to find your gate without rushing, and you can start your trip feeling calmer. It also helps to check airport maps ahead of time so you know where the restrooms, lounges, and gates are. And don't forget, one very good tool that we have are the digital tools from any of the airlines. Every airline now has an app, and it's the fastest way to get your information. Get information real time on gate changes, delays, cancellations. You're just not caught off guard. Um, Delta's is excellent because if your flight's canceled or delayed, it automatically takes you into an area that you can re-choose new flights. Um, be aware that at Christmas time or during the holidays, security lines are a major headache. And so if you have the TSA pre-check or global entry, that really does speed up your process with the dedicated lanes that are just for those travelers. But one cool hack is the majority of travelers are right-handed. So when they go in through to go to TSA, they tend to go to the right lanes. Next time you go through TSA, when she says, come on in, go to the left lanes. They tend to be much less congested. And managing delays and cancellations, even the most prepared holiday plans can be disrupted. So know how to handle the delays and cancellations is essential. Number one, know your rights. If you have a great travel agent, like your travel agents at Action Travel, then we will share that information with you. But many times it's what people don't know that lose them compensation. If you are delayed more than 3 hours, the airlines need to give you a food voucher. If you're delayed more than 6 hours, Their additional monies need to exchange hands. And make sure you keep copies of your tickets, receipts, and any communications with the airlines. Because if you have to place a claim through your travel insurance or even through the carrier, any documentation that you have really affords you a better leg to stand on. And have a backup plan. Holiday travel comes with unpredictable weather and crowded schedules. So having a backup option can save you from long delays, whether it's another flight, a train route, or even a bus connection. A secondary plan keeps you moving when disruption happens. Be sure to research alternative airports and routes ahead of time so you can pivot quickly if needed. Before I go on, if I book your flight during the wintertime, we're generally going to book early flights because they tend to travel. And our early flights for January for our group trip, we do that to make sure that we get there on the day that we're trying to get there. But I always advise my travelers what is the next flight if this flight's canceled or if you miss this flight, particularly if they're working with connections. And it would just behoove you to know what is the next flight should your flight be canceled or delayed. And travel insurance, travel insurance, travel insurance. Winter travel comes with unprecedented conditions, peak travel demands, and a good policy protects you against the common issues like delays, cancellations, emergencies. It helps preserve your sanity for both your trip and your budget. And all of the travel insurance that we sell does include lost luggage, misconnections, etc. We use Allianz. As a matter of fact, this year, probably my top selling travel item has been the annual travel plan. And I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you, we need to stay healthy while we're traveling. I take a disposable water bottle, and as soon as I get through TSA, I fill it up, and I am carrying my bottle water, my water with me. I don't drink airplane water. I don't suggest you do. I no longer drink airplane coffee because it's made with airplane water and it's been sitting in those tanks for years. And all tests that have been done, none of the airlines passed. So don't do it. Boost immunity, sleep, hydration, balanced meals, a well-rested body handles long flights and crowded airports and sudden temperature changes far more easily. So packing simple vitamin supplements can also give your immune system a small but helpful boost while you're on the go. I always carry a med kit. So it's got aspirins and anything that we take normally outside of just regular medication. Remember, airports and planes see thousands of travelers every day, so bring hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes to clean your tray tables, armrests, and seat buckles. Washing your hands often and wiping down high-touch surfaces reduces the risk of picking up seasonal illnesses like colds and flu. Try to avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth, to further limit germ exposure. And while I'm not a big mask wearer, even when masks aren't required, wearing one in packed terminals or on full flights can help reduce exposure to airborne viruses. Really, it just protects you. So that's up to you. I have seen them out again already this year. So if there is somebody around me coughing, I will put one on. Okay. And don't forget on these long flights or even your extended car rides to get up and stretch, move, walk around the airplane, take extra stops along the road trip, make a habit of stretching, walking, or flexing your legs during layovers, even in the aisle. in the plane or whenever you stop. Regular movement keeps your circulation flowing and keeps you traveling smart. Okay. There you are. Okay. I hope that wasn't too boring. It looked much better when I had it in color and where you could see me talking to you. If you missed the show last week, we were expecting winter weather and we didn't get it. But lots of winter weather stories have gone on all week long. New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Denver, Salt Lake, you name it. There has been winter weather and there have been flight delays and cancellations. This week also in New Delhi, a toxic smog packed the air, and it's been the highest pollution levels in weeks. And it was so thick that they delayed or canceled over 40 flights. In addition to that, I was reading about the large ship at sea, a Royal Caribbean, the largest Royal Caribbean ship. They could not get into port. And there were people complaining and said, why can't the Utopia get in? Because we see a Disney ship and we see a Carnival ship. Well, it was because the winds were so high and the Utopia is such a greater size ship that the winds would push it. It does not have the control that the smaller ships do. So there were cancellations and delays both in the air and at sea this week. Carnival is investing $26 million into the Ensenada Bay Village. Now, Ensenada is along the Baja coast of California, just south. And Ensenada is a quick cruise port, but they're building this huge project. It's going to open in 2 years and it'll offer 1,000 jobs to the local economy. And in other travel news, the French have passed in their legislation a €15 per person per port new tax. There are not very many French ports that the main cruise lines go to, but €15 per person per port, I bet that it makes less cruise stops in France. And I kind of passed it. I meant to tell you about these huge waves that are hitting the West Coast. So just outside of San Francisco and Monterey, there have been consistent 14 to 16 foot waves. And some of these waves, when it's high tide, have gone over walls into parking lots. They've knocked people down on the beach. There was one picture of a kid who was running he was running because the tide was coming in. Well, a larger wave came in and just sucked him under, and parents had to grab him. But it looks very dangerous. And I wondered if it was because of the volcanic activity that's going on off the shore of Oregon and California during the Cascadia area or in the Cascadia area. But it seems that these waves are generated from far, far away, and it's just a system that has been consistent. I know there's a lot of surfers who are super happy, but that's a little bit big. Well, guys, I had a very cool picture to show you. We have chosen September 5th of 2027 for our 20th Alaska group air cruise, Alaska Railroad adventure. If you would like more information, the biggest deal is that they're letting the third person go at a huge discount. It's almost 70% off. Well, I'll just give you an example. The first and second person for the 10-night cruise tour is $41.46, and the third or fourth guest is $975. So that's a really good savings if you're traveling with extra people in your room. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Ciao.